Welcome everyone to the channel where we don't just follow the news, we decode it for you. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon, because what we are about to discuss is not just another rumor. It is the seismic shift that every dinar investor has been waiting for decades to witness. The ground beneath the global financial landscape is trembling with a development so profound that it threatens to rewrite the economic history of the 21st century. And it is all starting right now, this very week, on the streets of Baghdad and in the back offices of 160 strategically chosen locations across Iraq. Breaking news is flooding in from multiple, corroborating on the ground sources confirming that 160 official Iraqi exchange centers are not just being prepared or talked about in parliamentary committees anymore. They are fully activated, powered up, and their systems are reportedly live, processing what insiders are discreetly calling Tier 4B appointments. Let that term sink in for a moment, Tier 4B. This isn't a reference to the lower level currency exchanges we've heard about for years. This is the next and most critical phase of the entire renomination and revaluation process, a phase dedicated not to the small-scale street vendor, but to the substantial, pre-vetted international investors and large-scale holders who have been in a queue behind the scenes. The activation of these centers is the physical, tangible proof that the theoretical framework we've been dissecting for years has finally materialized into an operational reality. Think of these centers as the nerve centers for the financial rebirth of a nation. They are the designated portals where the old, devalued currency will be systematically exchanged for the new, sovereign asset-backed currency, and the fact that they are now active means the starting pistol for the main event has officially been fired. This isn't a test run. The sheer scale, 160 centers coming online simultaneously, indicates a coordinated nationwide launch, an undertaking of such logistical complexity that it could only be executed under a direct and silent order from the highest echelons of the Iraqi government and their financial advisors. The silence from the Central Bank of Iraq on this specific development is in itself deafening and strategically telling. They are not broadcasting this on public news wires because they are managing what is arguably the most delicate financial operation in modern history, an operation that requires controlled, phased execution to prevent both internal economic shock and external market manipulation. The term Tier 4B specifically points to a structured, sequential process where Tiers 1 through 4A likely involve government stabilization funds, international banking agreements, and internal banking liquidity preparations, meaning the groundwork has been thoroughly laid. And now, with Tier 4B, the process is moving to include the appointed international stakeholders and investors. The scheduling of these appointments is being described as quiet. For a reason, it is a controlled, managed rollout to specific groups who have already undergone preliminary verification, ensuring a smooth and orderly flow rather than a chaotic public stampede. This methodical approach is the hallmark of a well-designed monetary transition, one that prioritizes stability over speed, ensuring that when the new dinar's value is finally revealed to the world, it will be on a solid, unshakable foundation. The very existence of an appointment-based system for a currency exchange is unprecedented for the Iraqi dinar and signals a move towards a formal, recognized, and regulated financial procedure, light years away from the unregulated forex market where the dinar has been traded for years. This transition from an informal, speculative asset to a formal, appointment-only financial instrument is the single most important indicator of its imminent revaluation. Each appointment at one of these 160 centers represents a transaction that will be recorded, regulated, and integrated into the new Iraqi financial system, providing the transparency and legitimacy that the global financial community has demanded as a prerequisite for recognizing the dinar's new value. The world is indeed watching, but more importantly, the right people are now acting, and their actions this week are setting the stage for a chain of events that will ripple across every single economy on the planet. So, what does this quiet initiation of Tier 4B appointments actually mean for the timeline and the final value you can expect? Let's cut through the noise and analyze the concrete implications. This is not the beginning of the process, but rather the clearest signal we have ever received that we are in the final, decisive stages. The activation of these 160 centers and the scheduling of these specific appointments is the logistical execution of a plan that has been years in the making, and it tells us two absolutely critical things. First, that the internal and sovereign level financial preparations are complete, meaning the new currency, whether in digital or physical form, is ready, the asset baskets are finalized, and the International Monetary Fund agreements are securely in place. And second, that the Iraqi government is now supremely confident in its security apparatus and its banking system's ability to manage this transition without causing internal chaos or a bank run. The choice of 160 locations is not arbitrary. It's a strategic deployment designed to ensure nationwide coverage while maintaining tight control, preventing any single center from becoming overwhelmed and allowing for a steady, manageable flow of the high-value exchanges that characterize this tier. Phased approach is the hallmark of every successful monetary reform in history. From the post-UWI German restructuring to the more recent Kuwaiti recovery, the key has always been to manage the liquidity injection into the global system in a way that strengthens the new currency rather than destabilizing it. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the rate. While the official international spot rate remains undisclosed, the very nature of a Tier 4B appointment gives us enormous clues. This level of structured, confidential exchange is not for a currency that is pegged at a few cents or even a dollar. The immense security, the vetting procedures, the appointment protocols, all of this points towards a high-value, asset-backed valuation that will stun the global markets and instantly reposition Iraq as a leading economic power. The resources required to orchestrate an operation of this scale and secrecy would be utterly illogical and financially unsustainable if the end goal was a minor, incremental adjustment. The economic data supports this overwhelmingly. Iraq is no longer a nation dependent solely on oil. Their strategic partnerships with China for infrastructure, their growing agricultural and industrial sectors, and their pivotal role in regional energy grids have created a diversified economic base that can comfortably support a currency valued at a sovereign level, comparable to its neighbors like Kuwait. This move is about sovereignty in its purest form. It is about Iraq finally shedding the financial burdens imposed after the Gulf War and asserting its full economic independence on the world stage. The silent rollout is also a masterstroke in countering the speculative attacks that have plagued the dinar for years. By moving quietly and dealing directly with vetted parties, they are pulling the rug out from under the manipulators who have controlled the narrative in the unregulated forex market. Every successful Tier 4B appointment that is completed is another brick laid in the foundation of the new dinar's stability, another large block of the old currency retired from circulation and replaced with an asset that reflects the true, immense wealth of the nation. This process, while invisible to the mainstream financial news channels, is the most real and significant development in this entire saga because it is actionable and irreversible. The banks and governments that have been holding dinar in their reserves are undoubtedly part of this, or a parallel tier, and their silent participation is what will create the initial stability for the public rate to be announced. We are witnessing the back end of the financial engine being started, and the low hum you hear is the sound of a global economic shift beginning. The appointments this week are the first domino to fall. They will trigger a cascade of financial events that will lead, inevitably and inexorably, to the public revelation of a rate that will validate the patience of long-term holders. The waiting is no longer a passive act. It is now an active countdown measured not in years or months, but in the number of appointments successfully processed through these 160 centers. Each day that passes with this process continuing smoothly is a day closer to the moment your screen updates with a number you always believed was possible. Now, the most critical question remains, what do you need to do right now in these final fleeting hours before this information becomes mainstream and the window of opportunity slams shut forever? This is the moment where action separates the observers from the participants, and your strategy must be one of calm, informed readiness, not frantic panic. First and foremost, you must understand that the initiation of Tier 4B appointments is the definitive trigger that starts the clock on the public rollout, which means the timeline is now compressed from a theoretical future into a tangible present. We are likely looking at a matter of days or a few short weeks before the next tiers are activated and the public exchange procedures are announced. Your immediate priority is to have your documentation in a state of flawless readiness. This means ensuring your certificates are pristine, your passports are valid, and you have multiple forms of government-issued identification readily accessible, because any discrepancy, any misspelled name or damaged edge cause a catastrophic delay that pushes you to the back of the line when speed is of the essence. Do not wait for the official announcement to do this. By then, the frenzy will have begun, and your focus will be split. Secondly, you must become a master of information discernment. As this story explodes into the mainstream, a tidal wave of misinformation, fear, and confusion will be unleashed by bad actors seeking to profit from the chaos. You must anchor yourself to a single, reliable source of verified, on-the-ground intelligence like this channel, and tune out the static from unverified social media gurus and doom-filled comment sections designed to cloud your judgment. The process is real, It is happening and it is structured. Do not let anyone convince you to make a rash decision out of fear or to abandon a strategy that has brought you to the very brink of success. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, you must begin mentally and emotionally preparing for the life-altering reality that is about to unfold. The psychological shift from being an investor to being a custodian of significant wealth is a transition that many are unprepared for, and it has broken people in the past. Start thinking now about your first steps, who is your inner circle of absolute trust. Do you have a reputable financial planner or attorney on speed dial? Have you considered the foundational principles of wealth management like debt elimination, asset protection, and philanthropic goals? This is not daydreaming. This is strategic planning for a reality that is, as we speak, being cemented in those 160 exchange centers across Iraq. The world is about to change in a single news cycle, and your ability to navigate the first 72 hours after the official announcement will set the trajectory for the rest of your life. Your calm, disciplined response will be your greatest asset. This is the final leg of a marathon that has tested our patience and resolve for years, and the finish line is now visibly ahead of us. The quiet actions of this week are the proof we have waited for, the undeniable signal that the plan is in motion and cannot be reversed. History is not just being written, it is being executed. And you have a front row seat to one of the most spectacular financial emergences in modern history. The long night is over, and the dawn of a new economic era for Iraq and for every single person who believed in its potential is finally breaking. So if you have found this breakdown critical, if this information has given you the clarity and the confidence you need to navigate these final hours, then I need you to do 3 things for me right now. First, take that certainty and channel it into action by hitting that like button. It's the simplest way to let the algorithm know this is vital content that needs to be seen by every dinar holder waiting for the truth. Second, you need to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell, because the developments from this point forward will be coming in fast and furious, hour by hour, and you cannot afford to be even minutes behind on the updates that will dictate your next move. This is your direct intelligence feed, and you need to be locked in. And third, and most importantly, I need you to go down to the comments section and type the words Tier 4 be active. Let's build a community of the prepared and the ready so we can all support each other with confirmed information and share in the moment when the final curtain is lifted. The time for waiting is over. The time for action is now.